سلام همه چیم؟
قند عسل.
همهشون خوبه
یه
مطمئنی؟
گل پسر.
اوکی. چطوری آرش؟
عالی، خوبی؟
نایس. اینا باید بلوپر. چطوری آرش؟
عالی خوبم.
Arash is one of the best competitive programmers in the history of Iran, and today he's doing a lot of very fun things, and we're gonna talk with him about his history, and we'll have a lot of questions to ask. Okay, Arash, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Shayan, thank you for the kind words. I would say I like math and programming. That's what I'm into.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit about your achievements in competitive programming?
So I started competitive programming in the summer of the second year of my high school. I did a lot of mathematics Olympiads the year before. That kind of like prepared me in terms of theory. But yeah, I started second year, and the same year, by the end of it, I had a gold medal in our national Olympiad in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was actually after that I met you. So
Yes, yeah. Arash and I, well, first of all, we are both from the same country. We're both born in Iran. And more than that, we are from the same school. Arash was 1 year older than us in the school, but we were in the same school and then we met each other. Arash, after getting national gold medal, became our teacher. Yes, go
yeah,
ahead.
so that's how it typically works in Iran. Usually the upperclassmen who've gotten awards typically teach the students. And
Yeah,
that's where I met Shayan. He was one of my smartest students. He was also
thank you.
very rebellious, but
Yeah, that was my question that I wanted to ask. What a student I was for you. Yeah, you started it, so go ahead.
I really liked actually teaching you. You might like not know about it. I used
I
to
see.
give like personalized questions to everyone, and I would always give the hardest one to you.
I
Um,
remember.
and you would solve them like it's like no issue for you. And then you
Yeah,
would ask me like random questions about life. Yeah.
I really was rebellious. We had a teacher, combinatorics teacher, and once he sent us an assignment, and I didn't do his assignments. And in the class, he asked me that why you did not do my assignments. I told him that because I couldn't open the file. And he said, why you couldn't open the file? Was there any issue with Telegram, with the file, etc.? And I
My
said,
dog ate my file.
no. I said, no, I just didn't download it. It turns out you need to download it to open it. And yeah, I was really rebellious. I messed up with my teachers a lot back then, and maybe that was a little bit because I had a good status in the class and I was confident that they won't kick me out of the class. I remember that in your classes there were two of us, me and Amir, if you remember. We were,
Yeah. Ozarmir, yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes, 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 yes. He was also one of the other smart ones. He's actually doing a PhD now in Boston.
Yeah, he's
Um,
also in the US right now.
Small world, right? Like everyone, uh, we all like went outside,
Hmm.
but yeah, I do have like a similar story to that, by the way.
Right.
Um, so when I got gold, we do like a training, and with the other gold medalists, there were like eight of us. And I was the younger one. I was probably like 2 years younger than the rest of the people there. Um,
I see.
and like during lunchtime in our classes, we would get like very hungry. So somebody, actually a bit before the lunchtime, but so somebody would go get kind
I
of
see.
snacks. And one time they were like trying to force me into bringing these snacks because of my juniority. I was okay with bringing snacks. I didn't just want to be pulled into it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, they told me to bring the snacks. I went outside. I didn't come back for like 5 hours, and they were like very upset. They're like, "What happened with the snacks?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you told me to bring it. You didn't tell me when." Um, so it's a
I
similar
see.
kind of story there.
I see.
Um,
Yes. Did you also mess up with your teachers, or were you a good boy in the class?
no, we had a teacher who I kind of like. I was also a bit rebellious.
I see.
Um, I think it's just because the school has like basically like the teachers and the students are very similar in age.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
there's always like
Yeah.
it's
For
hard
example,
to draw a boundary.
you were our teacher, but we were not looking at you like a teacher. So we were looking at you as a
Yeah,
friend, and we really liked you. But yeah, our relationship was very close because we were more like a friend. Our age difference was, for example, at most 1 years old, and yeah, so that was kind of the atmosphere in our classes back then. We had some teachers that were older,
yeah,
but some of them were very close, like you. And
yeah.
but from then till now, we were just friends, and we had this close relationship. But we actually did grow a lot in that time. I remember that I liked your class a lot, and you know a lot of good problems. And there's a funny thing about it. You had a superpower that we could tell you the idea of a problem, and you could say the story of the problem. You could say that what exactly the problem was.
Yeah, yeah,
For example, one could ask you, for example, 154D, and you could say that what that question is. Do you still have this
yeah.
power?
I don't have this power anymore, unfortunately.
I see.
But yeah, I used to basically practice so much, and I would typically like practice really good problems, by the way.
Mhm.
It was the kind of problems that teachers would like very classical problems that teachers would give to students, problems that had like a lot of learning to them.
Mhm.
Um, and people thought I memorized these problems, but it was
I
just a
see.
consequence of practicing so much, spending like hours with them like they're my friend.
I
That's
see.
how I was able to, you don't forget your friend's name. So it was the same thing for me.
Yes, so it was
Um,
automatically happening. So you were just
yeah,
not you were not trying to memorize the problems, but because it was just
yeah.
because you solved all the problems.
Yeah, even if I didn't solve them, I would remember what the problem was about. And it's
Yeah,
very important because there's always problems that you haven't solved. And
I
I
see.
don't think you should just go look at the solution always.
Mhm.
Uh, you should look at the solution,
So
I
how do
think.
you think we should approach problems? I mean, how much you should think before going to start seeing the solution.
I think if it looks like you need to know something that you don't, uh,
Right.
maybe like start reading like line by line and thinking again.
Hmm. I
Uh,
see.
but as a general rule of thumb, you don't want to just like see end to end of the problem. Like read it like little by little, the editorial,
Hmm.
and think again.
I see.
And in terms of how much time you have to spend on a problem, I can tell you that I've spent hours um, on
I see.
problems, and a lot of the time I had to let them go. As in,
I
like
see.
I would pick another time to think about the problem with a
Hmm.
different mindset. Um,
So yeah, I basically believe that as a rule of thumb, if you have still some idea to think about the problem, you need to keep thinking. If you're stuck,
yes, 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 yes,
then
yes, yes.
if you're stuck, then you need to look at the tutorial. And maybe after reading a line, you again have some ideas, you again have some room for thinking more, or maybe you don't, so you need to continue. So yeah, I basically believe that as a
That
rule
makes
of
sense.
thumb, if you think that there is still something to think about that you haven't tried yet, you need to keep thinking. And I don't think we can set a fixed time that, for example, okay, think for 10 minutes, think for half an hour, for an hour.
I agree, but you shouldn't just like think for 5 minutes and then
Yes,
like
yes.
go straight to the
That
solution.
that never happens. Yeah, with that rule of thumb, that never happens. If after 5 minutes you're not like, okay, I've tested everything and I am stuck. You know.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's true.
yeah,
I agree. I agree. I think it's a good
nice.
rule.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you also try to think about the problems as long as you can.
Yes, yes.
I
I
see.
yeah, I would even like sometimes let go
Mm,
when I'm getting like into a very repetitive loop.
I see.
Um, but that's because I like the problems so much that I didn't want to like spoil them.
I see.
I would spoil problems, by the way. It's not like I wouldn't do it. I was just very strategic with it. As in like uh, I know like all these problems are similar, like five or six of them.
Hmm.
They're like trying to solve the same issue that I can't solve. At that point, I would look at the solution, and then I would be able to connect the dots.
Hmm.
Um,
I see.
but I think it's important to be able to detect exactly what like abstract away the problem
Mhm.
to something very simple that you can use in different problems.
You're right. You're right. Okay, so now let me ask you, what do you do now? I mean, when you were into competitive programming and Olympiads, how many years ago?
That was probably 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago.
Okay, so first of all, I want to ask you, what is your job now?
Yeah, I'm a quant researcher now. So we kind of use statistical methods and
Hmm.
computers to trade to see if like a stock is going up or down.
I see. I see.
And uh, we use computers to trade. I think like this is very natural. This comes very natural to somebody who studied competitive programming. So I really
Mm.
like doing it.
And where do you live?
Um, I was in Iran the first 19 years, and then kind of because of my IOI, so I have like an IOI Gold and an IOI Silver. Funnily enough, the silver was after the gold.
Yeah, we get
Um,
into that.
yeah, but yeah, so that kind of made me get a full scholarship to Waterloo. Mike and Ophelia Lazardis were very kind to have donated the scholarship. And I studied there for 4 years.
I see.
So they have like a co-op program where you study and then like do an internship and then study. Um, so you get a lot of experience before you kind of leave university. So you get to explore a lot of
I see.
different jobs.
Yeah, I think we
And
need to deep dive into all of those parts. Yes,
yeah,
and then when you were at age 19, you left Iran for Canada, and then where did you
yeah.
go?
So basically, like I went to Turkey um, to have fun, and turned out like in Canada. Basically got my visa in Turkey, went to
Mhm.
Canada for 4 years. And then after graduating, I have been living in Amsterdam for a year, and I'm waiting on my US visa, and I'll go to Chicago then.
So your life story is very interesting. You started from Iran, you're born in Iran, then you went to Canada, then to Netherlands, and now to the US. So, uh, we're gonna talk also about your job, but there are some interesting things about your competitive programming part as well. One of the greatest achievements in competitive programming is to become a legendary grandmaster in code process. In order to get to LGM, you need your rating to reach 3000 on code forces. By the way, what is your max rating, Arash?
Yeah, it's 2997. I was 3 points
Awesome.
short, unfortunately.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Arash has a gold and a silver medal. And as he mentions, the first year in IOI, he got a secure gold medal in the IOI. The next year, in the predictions of IOI, everybody were predicting that Arash will end up in the top five. So everybody, I mean, all the people from all the world, because not only he had a gold medal already, but he was performing really well on code forces contests. He was constantly beating Petr and even tourists. He was starting from the last problem, and that was very superb. So, but what happened, Arash? Can you tell us a little bit about your second appearance in IOI?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say that like I'm nowhere as good as tourist or pet, but I did manage to kind of like be close to them in terms of some
Yeah.
rankings in code forces.
And I remember that there was a contest that we all remember that you ended up better than tourists, right?
I think I had like a second place. I'd never had a first place. I was close once, but
Right. But I
um,
remember that I remember that you had a better ranking compared to tourists in one of the contests.
um, yeah, I actually don't recall that, but that might be very true because um, like I have a lot of like top 10 rankings.
I see.
Yeah,
And you don't
so
even remember it, so you don't care about these things. We
well, I
remember,
cared at the time for sure. I cared at the
but
time for sure.
now,
Yeah,
yes, I
but
So what
yeah,
happened in IOI? And that IOI was hosted by Iran. So the IOI, funnily enough, it was in your own country. And I remember that I've also visited IOI. I visited you and all the other people. And Iran at all didn't perform well that year. When I don't know why, but the IOI in Iran was one of the worst IOIs for Iranian teams.
that's not true. Yeah, we got
But the
like
point is that
fourth place, I think.
yeah, the point is that
Right.
what we got, the point is that what we got was way worse than what we expected. For example, when we
Yeah.
were seeing that Arash, I remember that we had 8 people, 4 people in the main team and 4 people in the second team, and only Michael got a gold medal, and he
Yes.
also got a uh, gold medal with a ranking close to the end of them. I mean, he was close to the last goals, and we were even close to not getting a gold, and that was really that had never happened, I think, in the recent years. So, and by the way, how's Michael? Do you have any news from him?
So yeah, he's in the US. He's also working at
He's also
quant
in US.
company.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's in Texas actually.
he's in Texas.
Alive and yeah, doing well, as
Yeah.
always.
Yeah, I really
Um,
miss Michael as well. I mean, we were closer when he was in here. And yeah, I think I need to contact him. So,
yeah, you definitely should. Yeah.
yes. So Michael was the only, and Michael was also really good. In many of the prediction, Michael was also in the top 10. He was also very good. So what happened in that IOI? I mean, for the team, it wasn't good. Almost all the participants were not satisfied with their own performances. But specifically, I'm asking what happened to you?
I see.
Why you didn't
Um,
perform as expected? I mean, you
yeah,
were one of the candidates to win the II. You were in the top 3 in the predictions. But what happened?
yeah, you and everyone who predicted me being top five is very kind. But I think that Code Forces contests are not the same as IOI. Like very different types of contests, to
I
be
see.
honest with you.
I see.
So in Code Forces, you typically have like 2 hours, 3 hours, six problems. And in IOI, you have only like three problems and 5 hours. So you need to think really deeply on problems. And I think
But yeah,
this is
okay,
my
but
theory, by the
it's
way.
it wasn't just your code forces rating. You also had a gold
Yeah, yeah.
and a solid gold. I mean, your rank was 13 or 14, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 13.
13.
So Yeah, so there's a lot of variance typically in contests. And as a rule of thumb, what I think is that your competence is kind of like a contest result is an approximation of your competence.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes,
and
that's true.
this is a noisy approximation.
I
Um,
see.
that's why like in a lot of like we in Iran do a lot of contests to kind of
Mm.
find people who are very good. Um, but I would say that
That's noisy. It has
yeah,
variance.
it is noisy, but at the same time,
I
like
see.
there were very strong people in the IOI at that time, and yeah, I think like I overfit a bit on code forces problems.
I see.
To give you some idea, the year I got the gold medal, I was doing 5 hour contests every day.
Mm.
But I didn't think for the second year that it's a good use of time to do the same contests. And
Mm.
I did like almost all of them, by the way. Um, so I thought like I shouldn't do those contests again. Whereas if I was training for IOI specifically, I would actually like, even though I knew the problems, I would try again because to get used to that format again.
I
It's
see.
kind of like conditioning. It really is a sport.
I see.
Uh,
I see.
so there's reasons like that, and I,
Okay.
I I also like don't like the fact that I didn't hit 3,000. It would have been like a bragging point for me. I would have loved that for that to happen. But I don't feel too bad because at the end of the day, I know that I was improving as I was doing more and more problems. And that's what matters at the end of the day, that you know that you can see that you're improving. Um, yeah, I think even though it would have been nice to place really well, um, I was just happy that I was better than I was the year before.
I see. So you
Yeah,
feel that you were better than the
I
year?
was 100% better.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so you believe that your skills was better than a year before, even though in the year before you got a gold and in the second year you won a silver, but you think that you had more skills. Just it was just it's noisy and it's bad luck. I mean, sometimes I sometimes see people who say that they do not believe in luck, but I think that that is not right. I think even in our decision makings, we need to consider that luck is a part of it because sometimes we fail, and that simply is because we had bad luck, and we should not change anything. And sometimes we win, but we did not really perform good. We were lucky that we won. And we need to change it. I think there was a good book from Nassim Taleb, Fooled by Randomness. People
mm,
see the results which are random, which are caused by randomness, and they think that they try to somehow try to find some explanation for it and try to change something accordingly, but it's really random. And you know, I'm not saying that everything is random, but I'm saying that you have to believe in it as much as it exists, not less than that and not more than that. I think that's part of the game. And maybe you didn't do anything wrong. Even if you go back, you will do the exact same thing. I'm not saying that is the case for you, but I'm saying that maybe sometimes that happens. But we should believe that luck is a part of it. And sometimes we do things good and we don't get the results, but we need to do the things exactly the same way for the next time. Sometimes.
so the way I can look at it, because I'm doing like quant, it's kind of like you're making bets, and
Exactly, yeah.
there's like chance of loss and chance of like winning, right? And
Yeah,
what matters is that on average you're doing better. That is
exactly.
what matters. So
Exactly. Also, especially, it is very nice that I'm talking to someone who does quant researching. And yes, sometimes you start a bit and you lose. I mean, you will sell it in at price lower than what you bought, for example. But you
yeah,
didn't do anything wrong. You will repeat it. You were just unlucky. It's not
me
like, okay, because I failed this time, this was wrong. No, if you do that 10 times, for example, 7 out of 10, you will win.
Yeah, so yeah, that's exactly how I see it. Now, if you look at my like code forces rating, it's Reina, with a
Yes.
Y, if you're interested. You can see that I'm actually like a very high variance
Yeah.
kind of competitive programmer, where I would like get a really good place, and then I would kind of like get a really bad placement and
I
just like
see.
lose whatever I earned.
I see.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think that was because I was uh very like um, focused on getting a really good uh placement. Like my inner competitiveness was kind of like all or nothing.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm very much a
Yeah.
risk taker. So
Yeah, but
uh,
yeah. Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah, also yes, I think people who have high variance, it is based on their character of the people as well. I think maybe you could work a little bit on that. Maybe you could see the issue that you have high variance and try to work on that a little because at the same time I see some people who are more solid and they have less variance in their
Yeah,
performance. So maybe
if
that's
you were
something that you should
to,
work on.
I do agree. If you were to bet on people who you would probably bet. So in finance, there's this thing called Sharpe ratio, and
Yes.
it's kind of like the amount of expected returns that you can get
Mhm.
um, over like the amount of risk that you're putting in.
Yes.
So it's
For
kind of like
every
the
unit of
expected
risk,
value.
yes, you're going
Yeah,
to maximum.
exactly. How much reward you're getting, right?
Yeah.
Um, and that's a very important metric for us because we can't like risk all our money.
Mhm.
Um, and it's kind of the same thing. You don't want to kind of be all over the place in your performance. But what you really want is to be solid, right? If tourists were to take a lot of big bets every time, he would just kind of like lose a lot of rating. But Tourist is a very solid competitive programmer. He's always consistently at the top,
I
and
see.
that's like the
Yes,
ideal thing.
yes, but even tourist, there was a time that he was not at the top of code forces. Have you saw that? I mean, were you active in that period?
I think uh, I've never seen him like outside of top 10,
And yeah, he
but
was. Yeah, we didn't have that experience before as well. But it was a period of time for around I
yeah,
think 2 or 3 months is that he was also even out of top 10.
I would say it's
But
pretty insane that he would
but
consistently be up there.
yes,
Yeah,
but now he's back again and he has 300 ratings gap at
yeah,
top. Maybe because he's also in the US right now. I don't know. Maybe because the change of time zone, and maybe because here you have to participate in contests in the morning, and it is really hard. I mean, I tried to do some contests, and most of them I start them in bed, and
yeah. Actually, the reason I stopped doing contests was like I used to do like contests in Iran at like 5:30 a.m. Don't get me wrong.
right.
But it's just the overlap with our with my classes.
Hmm.
So I actually did want to focus on university. So that it was kind of hard to
I
not
see.
miss every contest. But yeah, like during the time that I was serious, I would participate in like 95% of the
I
contests.
see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's get back to your job. I know that you work as a quant researcher and you earn a fuck ton of money. How is that? Can you tell us a little bit about your job? What do you do? And can you tell us? I know that you might not be able to tell us about your exact salary, but can you give me an approximation of how much you earn?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll just start by saying that typically the first year they're trying to invest in you. I would look at it as like a kind of investment,
Mm.
um, because they usually give you like a sign-on bonus. So the way it works is you have a base salary, kind of a performance-based bonus and a sign-on bonus.
Yes, but first tell us
Um,
about what do you do, our job, and then we get to how much you earn,
okay, so what we do, there's different types of quant researchers.
right?
Um, and typically, the kind of like explanation is that we use computers to we make algorithms for computers to trade so that we can get money. And
So
this
you
kind of
work
like
in
loops in with
finance.
the
So it's like the intersection of finance area and computing area.
exactly, exactly. The kind of people who work at these kind of companies, though, are mostly mathematicians, people who study physics, computer scientists. So it's a very kind of quantitative world, as
Mhm.
opposed to finance. It's just like a bunch of mathematicians gathering together and saying, how can we do finance better?
Mhm.
Um, so you don't
So
typically
now,
find people with a finance degree.
now even in the finance field, smarter people are getting lead in it. I mean, people who can design algorithms, people who are good at mathematics, they are the ones who are leading that field as well. The field of, so what do you do exactly is to tell the computer to when to buy the stock and when to sell it, right? In simple words, it is like this.
Exactly, exactly. When to
Okay.
buy, how much to buy, um, yeah, when to sell, how
So,
much to
so you
sell.
have an algorithm to sell, buy and sell.
Yes,
So all of you are working on the same code. For example, you change the different functions or what do, and how do you completely understand that who did the right job based on, I mean, because you said that a huge part of your salary is your bonus.
yes,
So
yes, yes,
how
yes.
do they understand that, okay, whose ideas is working better?
So we also have like quants working on that to kind of like understand how to pay people
I
according
see.
to their contributions. So there are people who work like who try to understand that, and uh, it's yeah, but I don't really know like how exactly it's done.
Do you think that this path can work for a lot of competitive programmers? Because I see that in these fields, quantitative researching, there are a lot of competitive programmers and also these companies. For example, I see in the US companies like Citadel, like Street, like quant computing. They all are into the competitive programming competitions. For example, they sponsor ICPC, etc. So is it true that this field is a very good field for competitive programmers and they can see their future in it?
Yeah, I think the if you like problem solving, we have a lot of problems to solve, and our this kind of job requires a lot of coding, um, basically a lot of really fast coding,
Mhm.
to be quite honest, because there's so many ideas to try out. Um, so you need to be really fast with it. You
I
need to
see.
write very performant code so that you don't like you don't basically wait on some like code to finish it for like a year or something. You need
I
to
see.
write very optimized code. Um, and I think it comes very natural to us competitive programmers.
See, so based on what you say, this is a very suitable field for competitive programmers then to enter. And this is the future job that the competitive programmers can work on.
Yeah, I think I've seen many competitive programmers enter the field, and they all like get paid very well, and
I see. And what
it's
does
it's
that very
very
well
fun
mean?
for
What does that
um
get paid very well mean? How much can
so
people expect? And let me tell you, that's really a lot.
yeah, so I've heard numbers like anywhere between like 300K and 800K.
Between 300K to 800K USD per year. That's a lot of money. Do you
Yeah,
do you, do you
if
also
you can
earn?
get in.
Yes, if you get in.
Yeah.
Do you also earn in this area?
Uh So I can't give like exact numbers,
I
but it's
know.
somewhere between like 600 and 800 towards the, yeah, in that
I
range.
see. So Arash earns between 600K and 800K US dollar per year. What do you do with this much money?
Well, I mean, spoil my parents, I guess.
Send them to your parents and
Yeah, well, yeah, I invested a bunch of it. I've actually invested in an AI startup.
yes, yes,
Um,
yes. Arash once told me that, yeah, I invested 50K in a startup. And I said, cool. What do you think that you'll get? Maybe some other people can also invest. And he said, yeah, maybe they will lose all of it. And he was so calm about losing 50K US dollars.
to be fair, I really, really believe in the people that I've invested in.
Yes, but there
I
is a
think they
risk.
will do great things, but
Yes.
the way it typically works is that you don't get any kind of return on your money for a very long time.
Mm,
Um, and I kind of liked the idea that they were working on, and I thought,
I see.
yeah, I would only invest in people who I believed in. But yeah, it is very true that the money can just go away. That's like the company's money now,
So
basically.
how much you've done investments so far? I know you have a 50K on on an AI company, and what else?
Yeah, it's just that 50K for now. If you have
Mm.
like a really good company, hit me up. Uh, but uh, but yeah, like I haven't done anything with the money because I think I'm more motivated by the problem.
I
And
see. So
the,
you're not using the money.
Not that much, yeah. I
So
would spoil
so
myself to nice dinners, like
so
yeah.
you so you're good at earning money, not at spending money. Maybe you need a spouse who's good at spending money, not at earning money.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's um I mean like the money's there to
I
be
know
spent,
there
to be
are a
fair.
lot of such people out there,
Yeah.
so it's okay. You will find a great match.
Yeah, I think actually money's there to be spent.
Okay.
Um I typically don't believe in like saving, but I just have to kind of find the right thing to
To
put the
spend it.
money on.
And for sure,
Yeah.
money until somewhere is about your personal life, but at some point it's more about power. It's about the power to make good change in world. For example, like investing in a company is like that. You are investing in the development of the world. So
Yeah,
do you
I
also have such
actually
plans?
Yeah, I actually so the only reason that I managed to kind of be here is because of the scholarship that I got from Waterloo,
Mhm.
from Michael and Ophelia, those artists. So if I ever like reach the point where that money is within my kind of like power to kind of give, I would revive the scholarship.
I see.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Um,
that is a great thing to do. I mean, yes, also about the people who've helped you. They've done a great thing for everybody, for the world, for the country, because now you are working in the best companies and you are giving great profit to them. And again, you're using that money to invest in companies, in startups, and this is how it works.
I think like if you look at it as a so the way I look at it is first you help yourself and then your family and then
Exactly.
kind of like from like friends and
The next
yeah,
circle.
and at some point you want to help the world, right?
Exactly.
Oh, I'll I mean, I think like with the kind of money I got right now, that's still kind of out of reach. But maybe one
I
day.
see. So right now, are you a millionaire?
Hey everyone, in the middle of the interview, I wanted to tell you about a super cool startup from one of my friends, Airplane. The name of the startup is Multi. They're building foundation models for designing one of the world's most complex industries, electronics and semiconductors. The founders are both from Stanford, and they have a crazy team of ex-Stanford researchers, ICBC champions, and medalists in IFO and IOI. They're working with three of the world's largest semiconductor companies. For example, pretty much every car that you see outside, from BMW to Porsche to Ferrari, their tools have helped building the electronic circuits in that. Right now, they're looking for amazing engineers who are interested in AI and building products for the physical world. If that sounds interesting to you, shoot them an email or visit their websites. All the links are in the descriptions below. Now, let's get back to the interview.
So, right now, are you a millionaire?
I mean, it's I can't comment on that.
You can't comment on that.
Yeah, I'm not a millionaire, but it's only been 1 year since I've been working, and
I see.
yeah.
Yeah. My next question was that if not, when you get to become a millionaire, so you cannot answer that because based on that, your exact salary. But you already have said almost what is your salary. I mean, everybody know a rough wall of that.
Yeah, that's just to kind of like get an
So
idea of
yeah,
how much quant pays, and
yes, that's the general thing.
I want transparency
I know.
for people. I think we at
That's
Radix are very
great.
generous with the proper talent.
So maybe in
They
2 or
show.
3, in at most 2 years, you're gonna be a millionaire. And when do you think that you can hit 1 billion?
Um, I I think like 1 billion is a lot of money, but um, we'll see. I think at this point I want to just focus on making impact. And I think the money kind of comes with the impact.
I see. Yeah. And if someone wants to enter this field, someone who's watching you and is a competitive programmer and wants to enter this field, what do you suggest to them? I mean, how they can start the path to become someone like you and have a job in these companies as a quantitative researcher?
So I can give you my thoughts about it. So the I think one very good decision of my life was go to Waterloo. Um, they're just being in a US or Canadian or like maybe in a UK in a very good university. It doesn't matter like the country, but it matters being in a really good university.
I see.
Um, for quants specifically because there's uh, so few people in the company, and there's enough talented people to find outside of these pool of universities.
I see.
Um, so it matters. The university matters to some extent. It's not like we don't get people who haven't studied in university, by the way. That can happen. But university is important. That's one thing. The other is at Waterloo, I had the opportunity to do a lot of internships and experience different kind of fields before choosing that. Okay, I really like quant. I want to do this. We solve really cool problems. Um, and I get to kind of like invest that money back into some to things I care about. So uh, I had like 3 internships at Waterloo. The structure is kind of like you have to take 8 study terms and 5 to 6 co-ops, which are like work terms or
I see.
internships. Um, I did 3 because and then I decided I kind of like found what I was looking for. Um, so the first one was at Snowflake. It was a software engineering internship. I think in general, if you want to get into quant companies, it's good to have like a previous internship experience with like really good companies. Um, and yeah, like that kind of helped me get my Citadel Securities internship. I was
I
a
see.
software engineer there as well. And yeah, like the path from being a software engineer to a intern in a quant firm to becoming a quant researcher is kind of like much easier if you've already like done software engineering internships
I see.
at such firms.
I see.
Um, And you get to see like what kind of job it is during your internship, to
So
some extent.
basically,
Yeah.
you think that a good school like Waterloo helped you a lot with co-op program. And
Yeah.
yeah, so maybe it's good for people that when they are in the university, they're studying bachelor, they start to also work and explore the working opportunities, especially in internships. And
Yes, yes,
they get
yes.
familiar uh, and basically you need to have some first you need to have some experience, job experience in different companies until you find the one that best suits you and the field that suits you the best. So for example, you before Radix, you have worked as you said in Citadel and some other firms.
Yeah, and yeah, Hudson River Trading, I did a quant internship. They call
And
it,
you started from
yeah.
internship. So first you did
Yes, yes.
internship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very good time to explore. Um, if you are like questioning on how to get the first internship, for competitive programmers, it's a bit easier, especially if you have like really good code forces rating, or like have done competitions and have been very good at them. It's easier to get interviews and to pass the interviews actually. Um, but if if you want like tips for getting that first job, I think one thing we really emphasize is side projects. So go and build something. Um, so it's just not just solving problems, right? Uh, it's kind of like more real life. Build something in real life.
Mhm.
Um, so that's one good tip. Yeah, that I have.
So
Then
basically, then, yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
people need to first focus on competitive programming. And when they are a good competitive programmer, maybe they can go for an internship. The next step after competitive programming is to go for an internship. And if they have a high rating, for example, they have a high chance of solving the problems in the in the interview, and also they have a good chance to gets the internship, and from there everything is going to be easier because then they have a clue about how everything is
yeah,
going on.
yeah. This is especially case for people who are not like U.S. citizens or Canadian citizens or come from countries like Iran, where people have less of a clue how good a company that you worked for is, or something that you have done is. So you have to kind of like stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And internships is a way to stand out, I think.
I see. So you really suggest people to go for internships?
Yeah, yeah.
I see.
Internships, and if you want to pass the interview, you gotta really focus on for quant, you gotta really focus on statistics, mathematics, even programming.
Mm-hmm.
For software engineering internships, I think you should really focus on lead code. There's some like system design, OS,
I see.
networking kind of questions as well, typically.
I
But yeah.
see. Yeah. So let's go a little bit backward and talk a little bit about your childhood. I wanted to know how your process was from your childhood. How did you enter this field of Olympiads, mathematics? Can you tell us a little bit that how this happens? Can you tell us a little bit about the process?
Oh, okay. This is kind of like I owe this to my parents and my brother. So as a kid, I used to so my parents tried to kind of put me in different places where I tried art, mathematics, things like that. And the only thing I seemed to really like was math.
Yes.
So they kind of uh, spawned that off as a game to me. I think things are much easier to learn if they're a game. Um, so kind of like the way I learned multiplication table was my mother would say three, I would say six, she would say nine, I would say 12, and so on and so forth. This is how I learned the multiplication table before
Mm.
ever like going to
Nice.
school. Um, so that was one thing. The other is my brother. I actually didn't learn. I learned the English alphabet before learning the um, uh, Persian alphabet, and that was because I needed to know like how to write on the keyboard to be able to code. Um,
I see.
So they kind of like taught me the English alphabet just so that I can like learn programming.
So you learned programming before you learned how to write.
Yes. So right person.
Interesting.
Yeah. I learned my brother taught me Visual Basic when I was 7. Um, and I actually pranked my brother once with it. Like I had him like stay on there was a clock
Hmm.
and it like expired at like 4 a.m. in the morning or something. And I told them that you have to like stay and see what happens after like the clock expires. Like it's gonna be amazing. Um, you're gonna love it. And I was like pretty lazy with it, so I just had it like say something like, "Oh, you got pranked." So um, I'm not sure if my
I see.
brother looked at the code or not. He claimed that he didn't, but yeah, I think it would be pretty easy to just look at the code to see that I was yeah I
You were
didn't like
pranking him.
yeah
Yes.
um
So how old were you in that
I was
memory?
7.
You
Yeah,
were 7.
yeah.
Not even you were not even going to school.
No, this was before school.
So you were pranking your brother with your programs before going to school.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you had a great parents and great family that supported you and invested in you
They
to
really
learn
did.
things.
Yeah, I think whatever I owe kind of to my family. They were really
So,
supportive.
so this is how parents can affect their children's lives.
Yes,
By,
yes. I think like I would do this for my kids. I think I would
I see.
basically put them in different fields and see what they like and have just have them play it as a game.
So that's like well how your parents did. They put you in the,
Yeah,
they gave you brush and gave you the chance to draw, and you saw that you don't like it.
yeah, I
Then
didn't
then
like
they
it.
gave
So
you another field, another field, another field, and then you saw that okay, mathematics, I like this.
yeah,
Programming, I like this. That's very cool. And okay, what about your brother? I knew your brother a bit as well, and I think it's cool if you tell us about him a little bit as well.
yeah. So my brother is 12 years older. Was
He's
kind of
12
like
years
a
older than you?
yeah, yeah.
Really?
Um, yeah. I was a pretty late child. My brother was
He looks a bit younger.
yeah, he does. He's done a very good job of taking care of himself.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like he's 12 years older. He was always like there to support me. He was very much a builder. Like I remember that I used to like play with some Yahoo bots that
Mhm.
one of my friends introduced me to. And it was the kind of bot that you would teach it what to write. So you would write something, and the
Nice.
bot would like respond to it. And if it didn't have a response, you can teach it like what to respond.
So it's somehow like these GPT models.
Yeah, it's like the early form of like GPT, basically. And later on, I found out this was made by my brother. The whole time, it had
So
like
you so
millions
you
of
didn't
views.
you didn't know
I
that your
didn't know.
brother had been oh
Yeah,
cool.
I don't know. And there were many examples of this. Another one was invisible.ir. It was kind of a way to check whether somebody is invisible on Yahoo or like online or offline.
These are all
Um,
features of Yahoo Messenger back then.
yeah. Back then it used to be really big in Iran, and uh, he found like a way to kind of like uh,
Yeah.
figure out whether someone's invisible or offline.
So
And if
what?
it's yeah,
Yeah, that is very interesting. So what he was doing next? What can you tell us a little bit about him as well? Very short.
Yeah, so he's always been into startups. When he went to the US for a job, he was also doing a startup as a like as a side thing, and then he later on went to Canada, and he also had another startup. It's called Better Mode. It's still going very strong. Um, and very lately, he's uh, the CTO of Passage,
I
which
see.
is like a company that I really believe in their mission. And I think you have some words to say about it, Shayan.
Yes, yes, yes.
You
I've
would
done
know more
some.
about Passage, yeah.
Yeah, I know more about Passage as well. I really believe in what they're passionate about as well. I think that's very cool. And yeah,
Yeah,
I think we are going to talk more about that in the channel in the future. But yeah, it is basically about that's somehow similar to your situation, your two brother situation. I mean, some people are very smart, they have talent, so it's like talent is distributed over the world, but opportunities are not.
yeah, yeah,
Opportunities are in the US, opportunities are in Canada, but talent is distributed over the world. So we have distribution of talents, but opportunities are not distributed. There are somewhere. So it's about
yeah,
the passion of Passage is about how to connect these talents with the opportunities, such that it's gonna
yeah,
be on a win-win basis. Both those companies, I mean, those opportunities, when they're given to the right people, they're gonna win because those people are gonna do it really well. And also those people themselves will win as well because they're gonna have a better situation if they can be in a place that they can use their talents. I mean, this is good for both sides. I mean, both for these jobs because they're given to the correct people, and also for those people because they're gonna have a better situation to have.
yeah.
So your brother also started a lot of startups from then, and he was also very. I think that you had a funny story about him. Can you tell it in here or not?
Um,
About his occupations in the university.
yeah, so actually, it's pretty funny. My brother studied in three universities at the same time. And
Yes.
yeah, it's
Three
pretty
different
amazing.
fields, right?
Three different universities, three different fields.
And three
And
different cities.
I think it was like two cities. One of them was
Two
online.
cities.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's pretty impressive. I don't know. I still don't know how that is possible.
So you are
Yeah.
both. I think it is hard work because it's really hard how to manage three universities. What were the fields?
I think like IT architecture and agriculture, which are like two of them are not really related to programming. So
For example,
he did
yeah,
all of this together.
did he ever use agriculture studies in another field later on?
I think the way it works is that it really helps to know things, not
Yes,
just
definitely.
directly from your field. So
Definitely.
I would say like yeah, it was a. I mean, he should talk about it, but
Was
I
was
think it's a great learning
Was
experience.
YouTube invented at that time? Because nowadays people can go to YouTube when they want to learn about other fields.
So the idea was my brother already was very good at programming, so he has to learn like other stuff. So
Yeah.
that was the idea.
That's
Um,
nice. Yeah, I also really like to learn other fields. For example, I really am interested in economics, in history,
yeah,
and yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube videos about them, about politics.
YouTube is
So
really nice. Um,
YouTube is really nice. I mean,
YouTube is really nice.
it's better than any university. I mean, nowadays you can leave your university and start learning things on YouTube. And you can do that most of all because right now I sometimes do my work for example, I clean up house and I turn on TV and I play something about, for example, history of something, and I can hear it whenever I want. I can look at it, and this way, while I'm doing my work, I can learn a lot of things, and that really works. I mean, I've learned a lot of things that I would never go and read these many books for them. I would never spend this time and read.
Imagine like the future. I think
Yeah.
everyone will have like an Aristotle.
Yes,
Like
yes. I think in
so back
future maybe
yeah,
you can inject some, I don't know, some sort of gadget in your mind. And
yeah,
for example, you can
Neuralink.
query that. For example, right now when we work with ChatGPT, we have to bring our phone or our laptop. But if you put a gadget in your mind and your mind can be connected to it and you just can simply query it and ask
Yeah,
a
that's
question
true.
I think
Yeah, have you seen like videos they can there's like a human that can play chess by like thinking?
really? No,
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't. Maybe you can
There's
share it.
there's
I can put that in the descriptions of this video. That
yeah,
is very cool.
and that's like very cool. Neuralink is doing something like that actually.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Yeah, so I think in the future maybe the things would come that might be even I mean it would be even a lot easier than for example YouTube watching this. Maybe you can download some data and whenever you want, you don't need to store it in
so
your mind. You can query that gadgets and ask
yeah,
like
I mean
how ChatGPT knows everything, you can just have that gadget in your mind and query it. And for example, you can ask everything whenever needed.
that's very Black Mirror like.
Yes,
But
yes,
yeah,
yes.
I think like if you look at the rate of like technology, it's insane. I kind of like I was just filling out a form and it said like what countries have you visited in like the last 10 years? And I would have to like go back, look at my passport and like look at all the stamps and
Yeah.
see like what countries I visited.
But
That is like insane to me because it feels like it's such an outdated thing to go
yes,
like look at that like page by
yes.
page. That
Our
should just be
expectations are high nowadays. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Yes, and yeah, for example, I think even some jobs or some fields of studies that people go spend, for example, 10 years studying something. For example, they want to become a medical doctor or something. I think maybe in the future that's not going to be needed because you can have a database and you can learn. I think what you need to learn is the intuition, is knowing the concepts, the intuition, but you don't need to memorize anything.
I think you
Intuition,
need to learn how to
reasoning. Yes, yes, you need
you
to
need to
learn a
learn
few
what
things.
questions to ask. I think that is what's important.
Also, yes,
Yeah.
prompt engineering wise, yes. So prompt engineering can become a field in the universities maybe in the future.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not talking about prompt engineering. I'm talking about knowing like what to ask, as in like
Yeah.
what direction you want to
Yes,
like
yes, yes, right,
take,
right.
not
That
as
is
in
also right.
like micro optimizing GPT.
Yes, yes.
I think that's
So about the
that doesn't sound
details, you don't need to memorize anything. Everything you learn, it needs to add something to your intuition about comprehension. That's important. So, but memorizing some details that are not going to help you build the intuition is not going to be helpful.
I
That's
think
what I think.
like to be fair, right now, I think we don't really need to memorize anything either because we can query kind of like the internet for knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Or chat GPT for knowledge. But the issue is the latency is like very long.
Yes.
As in, the memory access is actually like such a tedious process.
Mhm.
It would help us a lot if that memory access is like much faster, right? That's
Yeah.
what it comes down to. Like at the end of the day,
Yeah,
we
and
have
it is
like
hard
different layers
sometimes.
of
Yeah.
cache.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whenever that is, the accessibility is very important. I mean, even though that
yeah.
it looks very simple, like you put your phone outside, open ChatGPT and ask something, but when you can do this all in your mind, I mean,
It's
in your mind,
much
query
better.
something and get, yeah, and people are going to use it a lot more. And
How
I
many
think that,
times have you had the case where like you asked a question and then somebody has to go like actually like write it out?
yeah,
There's many times you do that, but there's many times where you just like don't do it because you're too lazy,
yes,
right?
yes, that's right.
If you could do it like easier, it would be actually like an
Yeah,
insane amount of knowledge.
yes,
The curious people would actually like dominate
I see.
at that point.
Yes. And let's bring it even to the next level. I think even it's possible that the AI model can interpret the area and the circumstances that you're in and maybe fetch the data related to that situation. For example, you hear something about, for example, let's say communism. That model interprets that, okay, we are in an environment that they are talking about communism. It automatically fetches some data about communism and send that to your mind. I mean, There's a lot
Imagine
of
like
room for
advertisements.
I
Imagine like advertisements just like popping off in your mind.
yes, yes, you're right.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
I think you can already like make the case that like OpenAI could sell basically have advertisers inject things into like ChatGPT to like favor those particular like
exactly.
brands,
Yeah.
right? I think like they don't do it, but because
Mm.
of like it's
Yeah,
not
but
like their field, but it's very possible, right?
yeah, but yeah, that is very cool. That's how interesting the future can be and how knowledgeable people can be. Nice. So, from your family, you and brother are two boys who grew up and you're both successful. So, do you think that everybody can learn from it, that how family can be? I mean, it shows that this is not random. I mean, if a family really works on their children, it is really possible that they will do great in their future life.
Yeah,
They'll be
I
super
think like our
successful.
success is like the product of my parents' hard work and their smart work, actually. Yeah,
I see.
that's definitely true.
Yeah, and can you tell us, okay, then after that, what happened in your childhood after your
Um,
mother was
yeah,
helping you?
so I had like a lot of at some point my mom couldn't teach me more math, so she hired tutors. On the side, I was also like in middle school doing some web development on basically my brother worked at a company and they had like an Iranian branch. I would go to the office and do web development there.
It was the
Um,
time that your brother was working in Iran or in the US?
in the US, yeah, he
Okay,
was
so
in the
so
US.
so so the company was based in the US, so you were working
Yes.
remotely for them.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
see.
I think that was like a really good experience for me.
Mhm.
I did not like web development, to be fair.
I see.
I kind of like that kind of made me think that I like mathematics a lot more.
Mhm.
Um, so that was the point where I was a bit different than my brother. My brother was very product oriented and
Mhm.
very much a builder. I was more a more theoretical person. And
I see.
in high school, when I saw kind of like there is an Olympiad for informatics, which was like the perfect mix of mathematics and computer science. I was like, I should do this. I really like
Mhm.
this.
And this
Um,
is how
yeah,
you started Olympiad in
yes,
mathematics.
exactly, exactly.
Interesting. We know that we live in a world full of unfairness and injustice, and assume that you're a superhero and your only superpower is to make people sneeze. How would you apply it to save the world?
Oh man, to make people sneeze.
You can,
Um,
whenever you want, you can make anyone you want to sneeze. How would you use that to
anytime,
save the world?
anytime a person does a bad thing, they have to sneeze like they have an allergic reaction.
No, you cannot use it like that. You can, for example, assume that there's some query limit. You can do that once
I
per
see.
minute.
I think
You
like
cannot use it too much. I mean,
it
you need to
depends.
use it wisely.
So let's say I'm not the arbiter of judgment, right? Let's say like the people themselves are kind of like thinking, okay, this thing that I did was really bad,
Mm.
right? If that happens, I would make them sneeze. In such a world,
If they figure out that what they're doing is bad,
yes,
oh,
because I can't judge people, right?
that's brilliant.
Yeah. So if that happens,
They're gonna
everybody would
sneeze.
know if other people are doing bad things because they sneezed.
But what if someone really wants to sneeze?
Yeah, there's a bit of noise there. So yeah, yeah. Um,
So whenever someone thinks that he or she is doing a bad thing, you make them sneeze.
yeah, and if you look at it like that, then sneezing would be a completely different thing in that world.
Uh,
Like,
yes. And if
I
someone
think
is
there was a
sick, yeah.
movie. I haven't seen the movie, but there's a movie that everyone's super honest. Like they can't lie.
Uh, yeah,
So
I see. Very cool. What is your favorite programming language?
C++. plus plus.
What is your favorite book?
Um, yeah, that's I mean I can
You can first talk
I
about what is your favorite type of books. For example, do you like novels? Do you like what do you think?
I typically like biographies. The
Biographies.
Elon Musk biography is really nice, for example.
Hmm.
Uh,
Cool.
I think you get to learn a lot
Can you
about.
can you tell us about one of the biographies that you like the most about the book?
Yeah, Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk has two biographies. One of them is by Isaac Walterson. One of them is that was very earlier. I don't remember her name, but yeah, he has two biographies. They're both good. The Isaac Walterson is very to the point and it's very dense.
I see.
The first one is more chill, but it's also like much earlier.
I
Um,
see.
but yeah, Isaac Walterson has a lot of like really good biographies.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Maybe I will read that.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Your favorite algorithm?
Um, I like parallel algorithms.
Parallel. Which one?
Yeah. So
Choose one.
so I'm gonna like just choose one. There's a way to get like if you had n nodes and in computing nodes and
Right.
in like vertices and images and or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you can get the MST in log n, like
Really?
log into the two or something. Um, yeah, and the way it works is that you kind of I don't remember the name of there's like two algorithms typically. One of them is kind of like a local, as in like in the local you choose the minimum edge
I
that
see.
is connected to, right? But
Yes,
the
yes,
way
yes, yes, yes. I see
yeah,
what you're talking about.
the way this works is that for every component at that like you do a bunch of iterations, and for every component you choose the smallest node that goes outside, the smallest edge that goes outside, um, and you kind of like add that edge to the
Mm-hmm.
collection of edges,
Nice.
and you reduce the number of components by half each time.
Yes,
Um, and that's how you get like a log n.
that is
Yeah.
nice. Your favorite type of music and your favorite music?
I like classical music, and
Classical,
my favorite
nice.
composer is Chopin.
Oh, that's very cool. What is your pet peeve?
I hate when people misspell things. Yeah.
What is your dream ICPC team?
Um, I think me tourist pet because I can just like watch them solve every problem.
You, Tourist, and Pet. Okay, nice. Can I be your coach?
Yeah, that would be really fun, right?
Yes,
I
that
think we
would.
would just like watch them solve all the problems.
Yes, so we can both watch them how they solve
Yeah.
problems. What is your most memorable contest?
Most memorable contest. I think it was one of like my like so we have the summer camp, and in the summer camp we kind of like have like some contests in the beginning where it's called like bronze cut. Some people we say goodbye to,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And this contest is basically it's not like weighted a lot, but it's kind of like a good place to demonstrate your skill.
I see.
And I remember that in like the coding part, I kind of like full scored both contests.
Hmm.
And people who I thought were really strong like ended up with like 400 or something. Um, I think that was very memorable to me because
Hmm.
that's the first time like, I
Nice.
realized maybe I'm like really good.
Nice. And I know that you participated in a lot of great competitive programming competitions in India in Japan, in other countries. And I think that these are great experiences. You've met people, great top competitive programmers from all over the world. How was this experience? Can you tell us a little bit about your memories from those competitions?
So yeah, for sure. I've been to like a lot of these, I mean, not a lot, it's like four or so competitions. So one of them was in Japan. I met tourists there, and
You met tourists there. You do have
oh
a
yeah,
circle with tourists.
um, I do, but I don't know where it is. I'll have to like look that up. Um, but yeah, like
Send that to us if you found it.
um, yeah, I will look for it. So I think we went to see University of Tokyo with some of the participants there. And it was like really cool for me to kind of like hang out with my
Nice.
legends basically. Um, so there was that. There was like Snack Down. So the Japan one was Code Festival 2017.
Mhm.
There's the two Indian contests. So one of them is Snackdown 2016 and Snackdown 2019. So in 2019, I met kind of Adamant, and
I see.
yeah,
We have had an interview with Adamant here in the channel.
yeah, and Wojciech Nodara, and yeah, it was kind of like uh, very cool to meet them. But my favorite one uh, is when I went to Snackdown 2016. It was my first on-site competition outside of Iran.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so my teammate Michael couldn't make it to India. So I asked him, "Can I bring my dad?" And they were like, "Yeah, for sure, we'll support you." They were generous enough to cover all costs, get the best
Nice.
hotels. Um, so yeah, so we went there.
So
I was
your dad was your teammate.
Yeah, my dad was he claims he did like all of the coding, but in reality he wasn't like he was just like watching because of course it wouldn't be very legal to kind of switch teammates.
So you participated in an international competition with your dad as your teammates.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um,
And what was your final rank?
so I got fifth place.
Fifth
And
place. Who was the first place?
I think it was tourist and
Can
his
you
teammate.
can you remember that how many problems they solved, how many problems you solved? Just approximately. I want to know the gap.
I think they solved two or three more problems. I'm not exactly sure actually.
How many problems in total?
There was probably like 11 or 12 problems, I think.
So
I can't recall.
so tourist and his teammates 12, Arash and his dad 10. Fair enough.
Something like that, yeah.
Good.
Um, so yeah, that was I was like actually top three for a while until like the end where
You were in top three.
for a while in the contest in the beginning,
Awesome.
but I kind of like couldn't quite make it.
And your
I
dad
did,
argues that he did all the job done.
yeah, he says he did all of it, but
Yeah.
um yeah, but yeah, like I got fifth place. I got the
Nice.
first high school award.
Nice.
Um,
How much you won?
I won like $500. At that point, it
500.
was like a lot for me. By
Did
the way.
you split it with your father?
I mean, he's been kind enough to
Oh.
kind of like take me everywhere.
So he did
I mean,
all the job. He did all the job, and he also gave you the final prize.
so generous of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Um, I think I didn't actually my concept. I didn't have like a concept of, oh, it's my money or your money. It was like
Mm.
our money. So
I see. Nice.
there was that memory. I met a
That's a
bunch
very
of really
good
cool
memory.
people there. Um, so I had like this Canadian friend, Timothy Lee,
Yeah, I think
who
I
I
know him.
met
Yeah.
at Fatal Eagle on Code Forces, and also like Jacob Jackson, ZXQFL, his Codeforce's name.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I met them there. Uh, we had like Ali Bahjati and Keyvan Muhtashemi, also from Iran.
I see.
It was overall like a really cool experience.
Those guys that he mentioned also have gold and silver in IOI.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Cat or dog?
Both.
Do you have any?
Um, so my apartment used to have a cat.
Oh,
Um,
used to.
yeah, so uh,
Why
yeah,
why you don't
so
have a pet?
I move around a lot. I love pets, but
I
I move around and it's not fair to the pet.
no, I get that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night owl, 100%.
Really? When do
Yeah.
you go to sleep?
4 a.m. It's not like
4
regular.
a.m.
So I work US schedule from Amsterdam to some extent.
Nice. When do you come to the US?
Um Around October or so, I think.
I see. You come to the US in October, so you can be
Uh,
here when I have my birthday. My birthday is also in October.
yeah, hopefully.
Nice.
We'll,
But
we
you're in
still have to
Chicago.
see.
You're far away.
There's a flight is no issue.
Yes. Nice. So I
For your
meet you.
birthday, I will go. Yeah.
Nice. I would appreciate it. Nice. Yeah, it really miss you. And bring Michael as well, please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course.
Nice. Your preferred ID.
Um, right now VS Code, I used to do everything on Vim.
Uh, Biggest influence on your life by whom?
Brother. Yeah.
Nice. Favorite judge? Competitive program
Um,
judge?
I think Code Forces is the OG. I
Hmm.
think at the end I was using AdCoder a lot. It had really nice problems.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the biggest time interval that you were constantly coding?
Oh, yeah, I had like a live stream where I was doing like the Division 2 contests for like 20 hours or so.
Nice.
But I've definitely been coding like I don't know, I had like a project in university and I didn't sleep for like 2 or 3 days and just like coded.
2 or 3 days?
Well, I had like a 4 hour sleeping time in probably like 60 hours.
Nice. Give us your best productivity hack.
Productivity hack. Um, you know, like the 2 minute thing.
No?
So it's like a 2 minute rule, as in like, say you're procrastinating on something.
Hmm.
Uh, Say I'm gonna do the first 2 minutes of that task, and then like go back and do like whatever I want.
Right.
And when you like, and you have to really be
You
true
won't
to
leave it when.
no, you have to be true to the role. You have to leave sometimes. Sometimes you
Okay.
just don't feel like it, right? But most of the time you continue doing it.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes. So you say that I'm gonna do that for 2 minutes and then I'm done, and you
Yeah.
start it, and when if you didn't want to continue, you stop. If you want
Yeah.
it, you will continue. Nice. Nice. Okay, all right, Arash, thank you a lot for joining us today. And I believe that so far this is one of our best interviews. It was very nice and it had a lot of things to learn. I really enjoyed this interview. Thanks a lot for joining today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, Shayan. Thank you for inviting me.